from 1960 to date.
National Discourse, weekdays on NCTV.
Hello, good morning. This beautiful Friday morning. Now in the studio with me, I have two beautiful men. Yes, I chose to use that word beautiful on set with me because we are actually going to talk about a topic that that have this kind of cross abroad. All right, now we are looking at the youth and politics. Now you could be wondering why in Nigerian political sphere you don't have a youth coming up to say, okay, I am the one coming up to aspire for the presidential, to be a presidential candidate of Nigeria. Now, all of that is what we're going to trash on. But before then, I would want them to introduce themselves to you so that you get conversant with who you are conversing with. So, starting from you, Engineer.
Good morning, viewers. My name is Engineer Paul Jacob Ochai.
Okay.
Good morning, viewers. My name is Architect Derick Alapa.
All right, now, why don't we have the youth coming up to participate in politics? And then keeping you in view, let's remember that next year is an electionary year in Nigeria. In as much as we have this as a broad topic, we'll try to restrict it to our Nigerian political sphere for a better understanding. We'll go for a short break. We'll come back. Please stay with us. Welcome to National Discourse. Fuel scarcity has been a problem in Nigeria from time immemorial.
Current affairs.
We have to fix our refineries.
Politics. It's interactive.
You can imagine if states, the federal government and state government say, okay, all the vehicles we're going to use all should come from Innocent or any other local manufacturer of automobiles in Nigeria.
If a woman cannot build the family or her family, how can she build a nation? So it starts with the family.
Well, if you talk of unemployment in Nigeria is one of the indicators of socio-economic problems that we're having in the country. Let me just say it from 1960 to date.
National Discourse, weekdays on NCTV.
All right, welcome back from that short break. We still remember what we had today, or to deal with today, is the youth and politics. So let me start with you, Architect.
Okay.
What could be your own definition of who a youth is?
Yeah, well, the definition of a youth is it's encompassing. It depends on how you are looking at a particular individual and maybe a group of individuals that are supposed to be maybe involved in a particular action in the context of political terrain, and then it is the definition of who a youth is an individual, to my own understanding, an individual who have enthusiasm, the strength, and then ability, and then within an age bracket of 15 to 25,
Okay.
who have every morals to develop an organization.
All right.
And we can refer to such individual as a youth.
So your own age bracket is 15 to 25?
15 to 25.
Okay, Engineer, what is your own age bracket like?
Actually, just as he has said, for me, a youth is someone that's energetic.
Okay.
He propels. He's a mover.
Okay.
The age bracket for me is ranging from 15, 18 to like about 45 years.
Fine, I love that, because I wouldn't want you to have the same views for us to move forward. Now yours is you said 15 to 45, and yours is 15 to 25. All right, now looking at the political sphere that we are having right now, we discovered that so many people who don't fall in this category, or that are falling in the category of the age bracket, they are not forthcoming to participate in politics. What could be the factors responsible, to this?
Well, if you, in our political environment where we find ourselves in this part of the world, Nigeria, you understand that considering the age and limitation of the youth not participating in our present democracy, it is I regard it to be as a result of a socio-cultural background and a lot socio-cultural background.
Okay.
Because if you look at from the pre-colonial and then the post-colonial era, where we got our independence from the colonial master, and you would discover that there were limitations of a lot of knowledge that were basically hidden from the youth.
Are you talking about political knowledge?
Yeah.
Or general knowledge?
Political knowledge.
Okay.
Because why I would say political knowledge is this: after the pre-colonial, our leaders, some group of leaders, you know, the kind of democratic or rulership that was handed over to our former leaders, they were not, and there was no any organized system of leadership plan.
Okay.
The colonial administrators just came and did, you know, appointments and all of that across board. So the proper thing was not done.
Okay.
So, and the trend spread up to this generation. You look at, even in polity today, most of these leaders who have been existing from the pre-colonial to post-colonial era,
okay,
most of them are actually participating in our present democracy. That is the spread of the trend from the colonial masters. So we are still imbibing on the old administration system,
okay,
of governance. So you find out that the old people who are aged enough to become advisors, to allow, you know, the new generation to create ideas and for governance, they are still in the system. They are muscling up power with the system. So there's a spread of this administrative defect from the past colonial era. Now, the likes of a lot of generals are still in the polity till date. Okay. So
when you talk about colonial era, it has taken us years from that time to get to where we are today. Don't you think, sorry, this question is not yours, don't you think we have had enough time to have detached ourselves from what the colonial experience is like? Like, if you listened to what he was saying we are still attached so much. Yeah. There's this flow from the colonial experience down to this present time. Yeah. And I'm saying, looking at the number of years we spent from that colonial time to this period, don't you think we've had enough time to have detached ourselves from this trend?
No, actually, there was more than enough time for us to have detached ourselves. But the issue about power is, when you get power, you don't want to leave it. So most of this one, the elderly, they are supposed to be like like advisors, as he rightly says. They don't want to leave that position for the youth to come up. They are always there. They have the money, they have the resources to suppress the youth, not to come on board. I think that's one of the major reasons we are backward till date. Because our polity, we all believe in money politics. And that's what we are trying to break. That money politics issue, we are trying to break it. It has suppressed the youth. And the youth is always out there with his energy and enthusiasm to get what he wants. And if he's given maybe little money, he just divert the attention to the old ones that are there. But I believe with the way things are going, we are pulling out of it.
Okay, now looking at Nigeria today, that you want to participate in a political position, one or the other, and looking at the major problem challenge we have in this country, which is poverty, that by the time people are making campaign promises, all right, they are coming out to read out their party manifesto, which you can largely accept, and they look at the campaign promises, they tend to buy over the conscience of Nigerians with few things they have. Yeah. Of course, the basic needs of man is food, water and shelter.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Now, at the point you're trying to solve one of the basics that a man needs, which is food, you buy over the man's conscience. Now, the question is, looking at your own age bracket of the youth, 15 to 25 years, would they have had the time, the experience to amass the kind of wealth that would be needed to participate in politics?
Well, you see, it is only in context of political play in Africa that money comes to play. You see, in the outside world, you will, intellectuals is the property that is required.
Yes, sir, but we are trying to look at Nigeria.
Nigeria.
Yes,
now,
because we have next year in view. So let's look at the possibility of a youth from your own age bracket, coming up to contest for viable or visible political
offices. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
If I understand you very well, the age bracket 15 to 25 and above is what is required. So in terms of knowledge and money, you're referring to money. You see, to amass the required amount of money for electioneering and all of that.
Yes, sir.
That is why I want to a little bit deviate and talk about intellectuals.
Yes, sir.
You see, it is only in context of Africa and Nigeria, so to say, that you find out that electioneering campaigns and all political manifestos are done with mere material.
Like a mudu of rice can actually
play. Yeah. So you see that most politicians want to amass wealth, get money, and then before they go for campaign. Now, the electorate who are supposed to evaluate aspirant based on intellectuals and dividends of democracy, they no longer do this. They only wait for, little grains of rice and whatever. But what is desired of our system of democracy in Nigeria? We need to do an upgrade of this kind of mentality. You see, we can't remain, if we are talking of the pre-colonial till now, this is what we need to change. We need to get this kind of system off the polity. If evaluation of intellectual competence is what should be
requisite
now,
still looking at the larger populace of Nigeria. When you're talking about the larger populace, are people that actually come out to vote.
Yes.
Now everybody is shouting, we need change, we need this. When that time comes, the people that feel they are comfortable, they are not interested in politics.
Do
you understand?
Yes.
You will see that class of people not coming out. That's why I have to distinguish it. Now, there are some people that are very comfortable. I'm talking about the people on the upper class. All right? They are not comfortable. They are comfortable with their lifestyle. But they are not interested in politics. So you don't see them coming out to vote. They don't participate. It's not their problem. They are non-partisan. All right? Now, this group of people, let's shift them aside and look at the larger populace. That's the masses, the majority of the people. Now, look at these people again. Discover that most of them are uneducated. All right?
Yes.
Now, how would you convince them, or how would you let them have what it takes to analyze the intellectuals of whoever that is coming out to participate?
Now, you see, the problem, like I said, it has been spread. These facts are still hidden. No, Nigerians and the past leaders are still imbibing, like I said, they are hiding these certain privileges from the electorate. That is why you can say, now, the right to vote is not a subject of intellectuals. The right to vote is a subject of awareness that, there is a need for a leadership to emerge. So you don't need every intellectuals to teach you or what to know on voting is all about. So what we need to do is to organize seminars for some of these less privileged people we are calling
Who
the
is
poor.
Responsible for that?
Now, the Independent National Electoral Commission can also go into such town hall meetings and educating the electorate on how, what are the models of electing your leaders. So by the time, or NGOs can also be involved in such education. And then you educate the electorate, they will be able to know. Now, a leader will emerge from a constituency or a senatorial zone or a council, a local government council, or as the case may be. So what you need in this regard is to be able to at least speak in a dialect that the literate can understand. You don't need to speak English.
Now, what is the place, or where is the place of National Orientation Agency? If INEC could embark on this, what is the place of NOA?
I am surprised. I'm even hearing as educated we think we are. You're talking about National Orientation Agency. I think it has gone to extinction. These are government agencies and apparatus for orientation, but you no longer have these agencies. I mean, they are not doing what they are supposed to do. Even within the MDAs and all this, they are not taking their proper places and then doing what they are established to do. So this is the problem we have. We don't need to teach English. You go to your zone, you go to your constituency, you speak your dialect to the electorate. So is this knowledge that I still talk about? The polity is still a spread of, hiding of some certain privileges to the electorate so that they can maneuver. But it's so unfortunate that it's happening in Nigeria. We say we are giant of Africa, and then we are far below what is expected.
All right, one of the factors why people tend to neglect the youth, neglect them, they don't have anything to offer because they think they are not experienced. They think they are not well experienced. I think I have to use that phrase. Yeah. They are not experienced enough to come out to lead. Now, look at the experience. Look at a youth in your own classification. Do you think a youth coming out from your age bracket is well experienced? Having the experience, requisite experience to handle the masses?
Well, the youth are well experienced. They are well experienced. Because from all indication, most of the leaders today we are having, if you watch out their background or their backing, they're always backed up by the youth on the background. You have a youth, somebody out there that pushes you. It's a youth that write their speeches, the youth that tell them what to do at the background.
So why don't they give the opportunity for this youth?
They don't give the opportunity
to come out.
It's because
and it's still part of what we are discussing.
It's greed. It burns out. It's greed. It's greed. The youth are there energetic. They are there to do the job. But the other guys will not allow the youth to come up on board because of greed. So should the youth withdraw their support to these people? Exactly. Is it possible? It's possible. It's possible. Youth are 70% or 80% of the electorate. They are part of the 80% of the electorate. So if a youth remove his support for a candidate, that candidate is gone. Okay. I'm telling you, the candidate is gone. We are still talking about the place of a National Orientation Agency. Now, what we are discussing in this studio, and I believe the viewers are listening, but the truth is, who steps out there to probably control the youth on what to do? No, if going by what you're saying, that is people, the youth supports them, give them 70% support or 90% support. Now, which means without the youth, they can't do well in politics. They can't do it. And the question of why haven't they given way for the youth to emerge is because probably they are greedy. They are greedy. Fine. Now, who can go out there to tell the youth, all right, pull out your support to these people and let's see what happens? That's why we have political groups that are coming up. We have different political groups that are coming up. We have the likes of the Youth in Politics. Okay. We have the likes of we have other groups that are coming up, enlightening the youth on what to do this coming election. Yeah. Like in Youth in Politics, what we have in Youth in Politics, our slogan is "Don't be the candidate, not the talk." That's part of our slogan. Be the candidate. Okay, you are part of the group. Yeah, I'm part of the group. Okay. Say be the candidate, not the talk. So we are trying to enlighten. It's part of enlightenment. When they tell you be the candidate, not the talk, it's like you that is behind, which means you can be person in front and let the old people go back and support. So that's what we are trying to enlighten the youth. Be the candidate, not the talk. So the old ones are using the youth for the strength they don't have.
Okay.
So the strength they don't have, they get it from the youth behind them. So we are trying to eradicate that. You that is a youth, come out, contest. We are going to support you, irrespective of the party you are coming from. We don't have a party.
Now, I want us to look at a very important factor. Before then, if you're saying the youth should come out, that you are going to support, let's look at our ethnic/religious differences. Now, if a youth from the north comes out to say, okay, and you know that this youth has the potentials, he has what it takes to move up there, do you think it's possible that other tribes will be willing to support that particular youth?
Very, very possible. Very possible. Youth is unity. The youth is unity. So the elderly ones that are there, they try to break us because of religion, tribes, and nepotism, and the rest of them. Those are gimmicks to break the youth. When you hear about religious crisis or political crisis somewhere, they are just inflicted. It's like they are trying to bring that disunity among people so that the youth cannot come together. That's the truth. But the truth is, we are breaking that barrier. As a youth, there is no religion, no political affiliation. All we know, you are a youth, you are a youth. Whether you are coming from the north, you are coming from the south, you are coming from the west, anywhere you are coming from, as far as you are a youth and you have an agenda, we'll go for you. Now,
it's very good we are giving our divergent opinions on this. But I would want to ask you, sir, architect, what is the role of godfatherism as a factor inhibiting the youth participation in politics today, of course in Nigeria?
The godfather, or whatever name they call it, has been a serious slap. You know, it's all about interest. You see, when you say godfatherism in politics, it's a simple, selfish interest of one individual who thinks the way he sees it is what matters. You have no opinion. That's what the godfatherism factor is all about. And then it has, thank God for now, there is a lot of enlightenment as regards that. It's never like before. Before now, early 2000 and 1999 and what you hear then is godfathers and whatnot. But I think that has been able, the knowledge and awareness has been able to water that factor down. So it has created a lot of damage, however, but I think it's no longer a factor. It's no longer a serious concern in this political dispensation. And then from 2007 till now, you see the godfatherism factor has been out of the system, watering down out of the system. So a lot of youths are no longer looking at that as an issue. The problem now is, like the question you just asked him, is religious issues. You know, they have left godfatherism. The youths are now selling. No, what do we do to disengage this cohesive force of the youth from one decision? And then if they know that if the youth agree together, they will be able to do whatever they come up to agree with. So they are bringing religious sentiments and other nepotism act, and then
now, as energetic as you are as a youth, they are listening and you're watching. What would actually inform your decision to go and vote for someone that is above 45 years against a youth coming up next year for elections? That we'll consider shortly after the break. Please stay with us. Welcome to National Discourse. Fuel scarcity has been a problem in Nigeria from time immemorial.
Current affairs.
We have to fix our refineries.
Politics. It's interactive.
You can imagine if states, the federal government and state government, say, okay, all the vehicles we're going to use all should come from Innocent or any other local manufacturer of automobiles in Nigeria.
If a woman cannot build the family or her family, how can she build a nation. So it starts with the family.
Well, if you talk of employment, unemployment in Nigeria is one of the indicators of socio-economic problems that we're having in the country. Let me just say it from 1960 to date.
National Discourse, weekdays on NCTV.
All right, we're back from that short break. Now, before we went for that break, we are looking at you that are watching at this moment, and you are a youth. What would inform your decision of getting to vote someone above 45 years? Because I'm trying to merge their own youth age bracket. Architect said from 15 to 25, and it said from 15 to 45 years. Now, what would inform your opinion as a youth to go and vote a man above this age bracket than voting a youth? Sir, over to you.
Well, the opinion of every electorate to decide the voting line, the age bracket between 20 or 15 to 20, 25 and above, is a self-decision of, I think, evaluation of manifestos.
And promises.
And promises. So, if you're an electorate and then you give an audience to, you don't only use the physical assessments, the morals has to be there. It's not every youth that have the intellectual know-how. You see, you have every youth across board, but you must be able to decide who is going to represent us best. And this can be evaluated through manifestos. You look at what an individual candidate has, and then what he is saying is going to offer. So this will prompt the decision of the electorate to say, okay, let me vote for this individual. But to my own understanding, looking at global political scenarios in the world today, you look at emergence of youths in different parts of the world is the trend, this present trend.
Okay.
You look at North Korea, for instance, Austria.
Okay.
December 18th, Austria held their election. A young leader who is less than 40.
Wow.
Yeah. And then King Jong-un, or what's his name, the Korean man who is threatening America. France. You know, he's just 34 years old. So we can do it better. American is a world leader today. But you can imagine a 35 years old North Korean leader is challenging American. Is leading nuclear war on American. And is sure of what he's doing. You understand me? So we should go away from this system that allows, age. Same people.
Be a limiting factor.
Yes, same people. Say, oh, look at France. Macron. How old is Macron? If you go to Macedonia, 36 years old. Go to Doha, United Arab Emirates. You have leaders. Okay, talk of Ali of Yemen. These are young leaders who are moving the world. And then we are this analog system. People we heard about for time past, they are still leading us. They are not doing anything good, and you see a lot of Nigerians clapping for them. It's so unfortunate. So, decision, getting back to your question, decision of an electorate has to be a factor of evaluation, but of manifestos and morals of that aspiring leader. So you don't go and garbage in and then copy out things from somewhere and you come and tell people what's not deliverable. You tell people this is what you're going to do.
But I think the people you are even telling things that are not deliverable should be sensitive enough to know that no, you can't do that. I want to refer us back to this current administration, present administration, when they were trying to come into power. And of course, when we were experiencing the worst upsurge of Boko Haram, and someone comes in to tell you that I'm going to defeat these people in 3 months, and we bought into it. Don't you think, now you have your mouth to say what you want to say. It's your right. It's your right to form certain opinions. Now, the people you're talking to should be sensitive enough to sieve the information you're bringing out. It's not everything that you throw out that someone should take in. So if they said such things out and we're able to take them in and vote in, I don't think it's their fault. All right? Now, we are talking about sensitization. I don't know how quick this could be, because come next year we have another electionary period. Now, going back to you, sir, you have spoken much about the youth, how they are not involved or whatever. I know there are a whole lot of factors if you want to x-ray it. But the question now is, how do you get the youth to involve in this forthcoming election, like 100%?
We are having the youth 100% this time around, because we are not leaving every stone untouched.
Now, at this point in time, we actually have not heard a youth emerging, to contest for next election.
We have youths. We have youth. We have the like of another Buhari. There's a Buhari coming up. There's the like of Fela. There's a like of Adamu. They're all youths coming. Adamu is 35 years old. He's coming up. Fela.
Are they coming up to contest for
full force?
Presidential?
Presidential. These ones are calling they are presidential.
Okay, now I want to take your mind back to what democracy in Nigeria is according to our constitution. Now, before someone comes up, that person must be cleared by the party. I'm talking about the primaries, right?
Yes.
The person must have won the primaries and crossed. Now, if these persons, the youth that you're calling, they are part of political party, how are we sure they're going to survive the primaries?
You see,
the primaries, every party has its own primaries.
Yes.
Like in PDP and APC right now.
The major political parties,
They are the two major political parties.
Yes.
And right now the youth have no stake there for the presidential.
Now you're talking about formation of a new party.
Exactly. There are new. We already have parties.
Existing platforms.
Okay. That the youth can coerce into. It must not be like in APC. We already know APC. Who are we presenting in APC? Already everybody knows. He is not a youth. Who are we presenting in PDP? We already know. It's either Atiku or McCarthy or Lamido. I think those are the three people I know. But they are still recycled leaders. So that's what we are trying to avoid. We want the youth to run in another different party.
Okay.
And we are going to give that support.
Now, if at this time, or this point in time, looking at next year is the election proper, and at this point in time, Nigerians are really not aware of this political party that you are talking about, do you think it's a good thing for the youth?
It is. When did APC come up? APC came up when it's about time for election 2015.
Yes, but I still want you to remember that APC came up late, but the people in APC, I'm talking about the people that actually moved from PDP to APC. They are people that people know already.
That's what we are trying to correct now.
Okay.
Are you knowing them now positively or negatively?
It has all been setbacks. The formation of APC, we know how it was formed. Okay. A lot of political parties have to agree and merge together. Okay. And the emergement of those political parties have yielded nothing as we speak.
Okay.
So assessing the leadership, the present administration, and then what is it? It's all about a revolutionary mindset. Now, you don't need time to revolutionize a system. Okay. You just need in a twinkling of an eye.
The swift movement.
Yes, you can the whole youth can come together and say, okay, this is our decision, and then they will can reject everything, reject their money, reject their whatever they bring, and then
now everybody is tired. We are all tired. Even you are tired. With the system, with all this, all happening.
I'm not sure about that.
I'm sure.
But that's your personal opinion anyway.
I'm sure. Even looking at your face, I know you are tired of the administration.
You wouldn't be able to read that through my face.
Because me personally, I'm tired. I know my friend here is tired. Go to the street and ask. Everybody is tired. So the awareness is already there. We don't give up. See, there's a program we are doing. We don't share rice. We don't share money. we equip you, we give you skills, we train you as a youth, we give you skills that after the election you can go and stand on your own. But these old ones will come, they give you rice. That rice is just for a moment.
And Indomie,
that moment.
Maggi and salt.
That wrapper they give those old women. It's just for that moment.
Now, you have just said another thing that is very striking. Now, that old woman at the village that doesn't know anything, of course, she is not educated. She just sits and receives gifts coming from the sons and daughters. Now, that old woman at the village, how would what the youth are coming up with, how will it get to her? You're talking about skill acquisition. The woman is old already, and she's looking at, okay, what can I get now from these people?
Do in the village?
Just sits.
She doesn't sit. I think she farms.
It's not all of them that engage in farming.
No, I think she's not just sitting. She has kids.
Okay, let's talk about.
I would like her kids to be something to me.
Fine, let's talk. No, I'm talking about the old woman.
No, there's a
her kids are out already.
There are different ways.
She's not training anybody.
There are different ways to get to them.
So how do you convince such a person to vote for a youth?
When you give her a wrapper, will she still wear the wrapper? As old as she is.
As old as she is. Can she even chew the rice?
Can she wear the wrapper?
You see.
So what we are saying is, in essence, is this. When we go to an interior places, we know their needs. What's their needs? Most especially, some of them they need to grind their food.
So you can provide them.
You can provide that one.
Yeah, that's a system we are looking at. You see, identify. Sorry, to cut you short. Identify what the problem is. You know, most of our electorate today, they can come out from UK. You know, they are sound, they speak good English, and then they can thwart you from the line because of the intonation and, you know, of what they have gone to learn there. And then when they come, they begin to speak a lot of this grammar, and then you give them audience. You say, okay, this one understand English, let him go. He does not know what the problem of the electorates are. So we are intending to initiate a platform where every elected leaders in Federal Republic of Nigeria will be a member and a party to. Now, we'll go across board to identify and interact with every zones and constituencies and every youth. Then we'll find out projects that are mind-blowing. You know, we'll identify this project and we'll tell you as a leader, you are a leader from so constituency in Ogbomosho. Your people want this particular thing to be done for them. So this unionism and rubbing of mind within the youth can create a deliverable administration and government of any leader that will emerge in 2019. We have a lot of issues of, you know, using the youth as the case may be. After the election, you see that everybody is gone. We're also looking at project reintegration. We call it PADEP, post-election reintegrated development project. So these are projects who you know, create. He's an engineer, I'm an architect. So we don't need people from the moon to come and, you know, we'll create this project. We'll have quantity surveyors, we'll have political scientists among us who will be able to, you know, itemize what the issues are and then make presentation. So these issues are what we are looking into.
Now you said you have platforms already that are running to see how to bring the youth together. Now, for the youth that are at home that are actually watching us right now, how would they be able to get in touch with us, your platforms?
Well, for the moment, we want to, you know, acknowledge and then appreciate TSTV Africa. It is a wonderful platform. As you can see, you can only be an honorable member to go to some of the television stations to go and talk, or you throw money around. But who are we? We are just from the background, and today we are here in TSTV, and that is why we must propagate our own. It's an avenue to speak to every Nigerian, to go into what belongs to us, and then get the decoders, and then move on and listen to this kind of program. So from this, you can have access to us. We don't have what it takes to go and pay huge amount of money for other things. Our platforms are also the internet and all of that. We have Facebook, we have websites and all of that.
And
so
you said the name of your platform is what again?
Youth in Politics.
Youth in Politics.
Fortunately, we are discussing
Youth in Politics.
anchoring a national discussion on youth in politics. So,
all right, I want to appreciate you and thank you very much for coming in, as much as we started a bit late. Thank you, engineer. Thank you, architect.
Thank you, Ochai,
for making it to the studio today.
It's a pleasure.
Your dreams and your expectations, we pray, will not be cut short.
Amen.
Now,
Amen.
for the viewers that are listening, we've talked about why you as a youth should not leave what you're supposed to do or support and go and key up behind people that are above our age limit. You're looking for a change, you know what to do. Start from getting your PVCs ready. Start getting registered. I think the registration runs from now to December.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Fine. So don't just sit at home and wait for changes to happen. And don't sit at home and wish, if it was just a youth that is there, I know things will change. So you have what it takes in your hand to effect that change. And this is where we're going to stop on National Discourse, discussing youth in politics. We'll bring them back again to continue this discussion. Bye.